The Israeli lobby, by the way, which is this strange amalgamation of rich Jews to an important extent and evangelicals who have their own biblical literalism, looking for the Armageddon, which they think depends on Israel holding these lands, is simply very powerful in the U.S. and has been powerful for a long time, and has a lot of financial resources. And American democracy is $1, one vote. It's basically a completely corrupt political system based on raising money for expensive campaigns. So the Israeli lobby has long had a high influence. From the point of view of most American Jews, I can tell you from my own experience, and I think it's pretty standard, support for Israel was deeply enculturated, for American Jewry, period. And again, it was not seen or foreseen that this was a genocidal impulse, and it was on overwhelmingly secular grounds. So there's very little religious orthodoxy in the Israel lobby at all. You don't even hear about it. My own guess is the following, therefore it's, again, not an insider's view. First, I don't think most wealthy American political figures or leaders of the Israel lobby, and that's a lot of people on Wall Street, for example, a lot of very big money. I don't think they really understand much at all about this biblical or philosophical or religious nationalist or ideological view. It's more a knee-jerk support Israel, period. Israel's under threat, support it, period. So I think that there's very little understanding. And again, I'm being a little bit introspective because my own understanding needed a massive scaling up just to understand what was going on and who are these figures, many of whom I had never heard of before, until they became agents of genocide. So this is one part. Second, a politician like Biden, who's nothing but an old school politician. We have no idea what his real state of mind is, capacity to think or anything else right now, frankly. But his instinct completely is don't show a shade of gap with Israel. Now, by the way, even saying that, it's amazing how even Biden has been out there saying this is terrible what's happening, and have some more bombs, by the way. So I don't think it's cynical, actually, although, of course, in outcome, it's profoundly cynical. It's pathetic is what it is. It's pathetic in that Biden, as a person, clearly sees this is horrendous. It's not a fake. It's not a disguise. But what's pathetic is how weak it is, because the guy, for God's sake, is president of the United States, and he should pick up the phone and say to Netanyahu, you're not getting any more weapons, period. Not with this mass killing. And the United States could shut this down in a day if it chose to. But it doesn't choose to, not because it supports genocide or ethnic cleansing, but because it's so deeply ingrained, don't get ahead of the Israeli lobby bulldozer. It's a bad thing to do. Now, even with all of that, the American Jewish community is at this point pretty much in angst and deeply divided. It's in this way a little bit impressive, I would say, although you wouldn't think it's too impressive. But, support for Israel is collapsing among the Jews in America, not just among American society more generally. What's happening is disgraceful, disgusting, illegal, murderous. There's no other word for it, or words for it. And so this is actually permeating a lot of American society. But the political class doesn't live on public opinion. It lives on campaign contributions. And so one big billionaire campaign contributor outweighs a hell of a lot of percentage points of American public opinion till now. I'm not giving up. I'm speaking out because I want the United States to stop arming Israel, period. And not in weeks or months, today, this hour, this moment. And I'm making the point every day because I live in the UN context. We're the last bulwark for a genocide right now. No one else supports this in the whole world. By the way, no one else practically could support it. Some European countries like Germany are afraid to speak out for their own historical and political reasons. But it's only the United States practically that enables this to go on hour by hour. And so I'm trying to make the case in the US. We're completely isolated. It's completely horrible. It is not complicated. It is not complicated. It's not, oh my God, what are we going to do about Hamas and so forth? There are other ways to security than killing tens of thousands of people and starving hundreds of thousands of people. There is such a thing called diplomacy. And this is conveniently or inconveniently or obnoxiously forgotten by the United States because they're not trying diplomacy. But this is the real answer.